Number 5, John Harrison. Batting at shortstop, number 10, Jordy Mercer. Batting ninth pitching for the Pirates, number 45, Garrett Cole. And now, the starting lineup for your Cincinnati Reds. Leading off the playing center field, number 6, Billy Hamilton. Second and third base, number 7.
Pirates third baseman will be back at the hot corner again this afternoon. Barrel Automotive League leader stat. The Pirates off to a 4-0 start. And you take a look at where the Buccos are in terms of on-base percentage. Best in the major leagues. Second in team ERA. So far, so good for this Buccos club.
It is an interesting, I think, Greg, first start for this offense that, you know, we're not going to be hitting a lot of home runs and going going to kind of depend on guys getting on base. I think that almost 390 on base percentage is what really is kind of pleasing everybody down in the baseball operations department, because that's going to be needed this year. You got to get those guys on base, move them around, and score a lot of runs in a more conventional manner.
Looking to go 5-0, and we'll get things going here shortly. Back to the studios, Paul Alexander for a game break.
Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network, Health for All, and by Day Automotive. We're gonna make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Pirates going through their pregame routine. Again, off to a 4-0 start. Ray Searage, Pirates pitching coach. Todd Tomczyk, the Pirates head trainer.
Not bad out. When we first went outside this morning, we thought it was going to be just absolutely miserable. But the temperature is not too bad. The wind is actually blowing straight in this afternoon.
Josh Harrison, Andrew McCutchen in the dugout.
It's like musical chairs. Stop. Okay.
Check out the RAV4 Pirates lineup. John Jaso, Andrew McCutchen, David Freese, Starling Marte, first career Grand Slam. Francisco Cervelli follows. Then it's Gregory Polanco, Josh Harrison, Jordy Mercer, and Garrett Cole. The lineup the Pirates have Have to go way, way back to find the last time a Pirates club had the same exact lineup for 5 straight games at any time during a year, let alone at the start of the season. A luxury for Clint Hurdle.
We'll take a look at the numbers for Iglesias, and that's, to me, it's kind of a little bit of an interesting situation you got here with the Pirates really trying to be patient and not swing at pitchers' pitches, and a guy that's not a hard thrower has pretty good control that likes to hit his spots. You know, who's going to have to give in? Is it going to be Iglesias going to have to take bigger part of the plate, or will the Pirates be a little more aggressive early in the count because of his style of pitching?
Check out the Honda defense behind him. Brandon Phillips at second base. Mainstay over there for many years. Joey Votto, his partner on the right side. Ivan De Jesus. Eugenio Suarez on the left side of the infield for Cincinnati. Scott Schebler, the rookie in left. Billy Hamilton, Jay Bruce in center and right. And behind the plate, Tucker Barnhart for Raisel Iglesias, the Cuban defector who started opening day against the Philadelphia Phillies on Monday and went 6 innings of 6 hit ball, gave up 2 runs, did not walk a batter, and struck out 7. Started twice against the Pirates last year. 1 good start and 1 not so good. John Jaso stepping in. Jaso 0 for 3 with a run scored last night. 3 hits and 15 at bats the early going of 2016. Swings at the first pitch and bounces it to Phillips. And the easy play, 1 pitch and 1 out. And we said you have to go way back in Pirates history. Last time they started a season with the same exact lineup coming off the World Series of 1979. The We Are Family Bucks had Omar Moreno, Tim Foley, Dave Parker, Willie Stargell, John Milner in left, Bill Madlock, Ed Ott, and Phil Garner.
It's a good chance that's the lineup I faced in my very first game in 1980. It's very familiar.
What time of the year would that have been?
That was May. So
Andrew McCutchen 0 for 4. Scored a couple of runs last night. Two balls, no strikes. And a ground ball and a base hit for Andrew McCutchen. Actually, McCutchen, if you wanted to get technical about it, should have been credited with a hit last night. Leadoff roller toward third. Third baseman Eugenio Suarez came in to try and make a play on it. It was charged with an error.
Yeah, that was a play that he, I thought that if he handled it cleanly, he probably gets him out, but not where you expect to get an out on a guy.
Far from automatic.
Yeah, it wasn't an automatic play. So that was a tough error. Kutch lost out on a hit.
He's aboard for David Freese. Off to a .353 start, 6 out of 17. And a strike. Freese, a walk, 7 strikeouts, 17 at bats.
Good last name for this first week. Man,
perfect.
Had a lot of assists yesterday.
Yes, not intentionally, but he got them thanks to some fine backup work by Jordy Mercer.
Well, what a game Mercer had on defense. Just always in the right place at the right time. That throw he made to the plate where he barehanded the ball. And
no look, just had to get up and gun it.
Think about that throw too. It was like the perfect spot.
Yes.
It was right there in front of the plate, about a foot off the ground. They made Cervelli's job with that sweep tag very easy.
It's 2-1. And a strike is called on David Freese. Facing the Cuban defector Raisel Iglesias, 26 years old. 6'2", 185 pounds. Signed a 7-year big league contract in June 2 years ago, 2014. Guaranteed $27 million, and he gets Freese to chase a pitch in the dirt. Second out, and the first strikeout for Raisel Iglesias.
Iglesias kind of come down from the side. He'll throw a little sweeper fastball, and then he'll throw the straight one because of the rotation off that sidearm type delivery is going to be coming down and in. That's what happened on that last pitch.
Here is Starling Marte. Votto nearly handcuffed.
Wasn't all that bad of a throw, just kind of made it look like it the way he caught it.
Gold Glove first baseman Joey Votto. Marte had 3 hits last night. Of course, the big one, the grand slam. Off the end of the bat, rolled to the shortstop. And DeJesus throws on, and Votto comes off the bag, but takes care of Marte routinely, as it turns out. After half inning, Pirates nothing, and Garrett Cole takes the hill for the first time in 2016. Plenty of Bucco jerseys and caps. Baseball caps, ski caps on a chilly day. Red starting lineup looks like this. It is Billy Hamilton, Eugenio Suarez, and Joey Votto. Brandon Phillips, a .305 career hitter against the Bucks, hit his 23rd career home run last night against Pittsburgh. Jay Bruce follows. Scott Schebler, Ivan DeJesus, Tucker Barnhart, Raisel Iglesias. The starting 9 for Brian Price's Reds, who were dealt the first loss of this young season last night by the Pirates.
Take a look at Cole's numbers from last year, brought to you by Hyundai, and they are outstanding. He kind of maybe tailed off a little bit toward the end, but I'd say for the first 2/3 of the season, he was right there in that Cy Young Award talk. And hopefully this afternoon, he'll start another season just like that last one.
Working with Francisco Cervelli, Clint Hurdle told us that was hinting as Chris Stewart would catch today, but Cervelli lobbied, wanted to play straight through, and he'll get his first rest tomorrow. Chris Stewart will start tomorrow afternoon. Strike 1 and 0-2 on Billy Hamilton. For Garrett Cole, a 19-win season, but he has had trouble against these Reds. 0-4 in 6 career starts against Cincinnati. And Hamilton Drops a hit into left, and be careful. He is going to go for 2, and he's going to make it.
Okay, he's probably the one guy that can get a double out of that ball. And Marte will stop almost everyone when he goes to the line, and not here though.
But Billy Hamilton is a .240 career hitter in the big leagues, but .310 against the Pirates. They just cannot seem to figure him out.
Well, that's not really a good spot for that pitch. You know, it's up away from him a little bit. A fastball, something that I mean, that's his game. Slap something the other direction and run. And nothing better to do it on than that pitch that was up and away a little bit.
And concern for Cole. He looked a couple of times over at Hamilton, dancing a bit off the bag. And Eugenio Suarez a swing and a miss.
Hamilton, every pitch he's looking to steal.
Pickoff try. Harrison over there. Hamilton last year stole 57 bases, caught 8 times, 16 of them against the Pirates. He was 16 for 17 in the stolen base department against Pittsburgh last year. Boy, he's got a monster lead, and he's going to score on this one. Little flare in the right, and a 1-0 lead for the Reds. Double single, just like that. The Reds lead Garrett Cole, and the Pirates 1-0.
But just a couple of little flares. He jumped out ahead 0-2, and then the ball that could be slapped. You know, this ball's not hit hard at all. In fact, he would have liked it to have been hit hard. Maybe it could hold Hamilton up, but not on that little flare.
Going the other way, Joey Votto fouls it out of play.
Suarez, he was just trying to hit the ball the other direction, move the runner.
Pitch that was in on him, and he not only moves the runner, he scores him.
You know, I wonder, Greg, with Hamilton, if you really need to worry too much about that, because Hamilton moved himself.
Yeah.
I wonder if they talk about that, like, okay, when it's Hamilton out there,
yeah, good point.
Just go ahead and maybe
just
hit
do what
yourself.
You normally do. Yeah.
He's going to get himself to third. You don't have to do it for him.
That's a good point. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brandon Phillips to follow. And there goes the runner for second, and it's out of play. Suarez took off.
I wonder if that was a hit and run.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Was it Cole that Votto got in a little shouting match with? Was it last year?
I think it was last year. Cole looked like he thought he had struck out Votto with that pitch. Home plate umpire Mark Ripberger. Over at first base, Joe West, he's the crew chief. Kerwin Danley at second. Andy Fletcher is at third. There's the veteran, Joe West. That pitch was a bit inside, not by much. Votto, of course, has a great eye at the plate. Led the league in walks again last year. He's 2 for 12 lifetime against Cole. 2 for 16 to start the year. The Reds swept the Phillies to begin the schedule here in Cincinnati. Still 2-2.
such a different, type hitter from at bat to at bat. I mean, right now he's taking such a short swing. He's just kind of like a Punch and Judy guy up there right at this point. He's choking way up on the bat. He's just looking to punch the ball out towards center left field.
And a shot into right field.
You can see that the very short swing, and he got a breaking ball, and because of his approach, he wasn't way out in front of it, and he was able to hit that ball to right. See how quick he stopped the bat.
Out of the zone and just slapped it to right.
Watch how quick the bat stopped. There's no follow through at all. That's all he was trying to do, was just punch a little line drive somewhere for a single.
Rivers Casino tips to win.
Well, I thought quite a bit on this, Greg, and these are what I went with. The strong debut, even though it's a little rocky start here, I still think that that's something we need, and got some pretty good defense last night. I'd like to see that again.
Oh, can we go back to those? Because he did take so much time.
Now
let's take a look. Strong debut. Let me think about that. Strong debut. Yeah, well, this is his first start. So
and sure hands on D.
Sure hands on D.
That'll help the strong debut.
Yeah. In the air to center, McCutcheon toward right center. Will make the catch. Runner at second will tag and go to third. And that is the first out of this bottom of the first inning. Cole now will face Jay Bruce.
He double play ball, so the sure hands work.
Bruce was 0 for 3, scored a run last night, 6 for 15, a .400 average with a couple of home runs through the first 4 games. Suarez and Votto aboard. Suarez, an RBI single, brought home Billy Hamilton, moving to third on that fly out. Joey Votto slapped that single to right. Cole 0-4, 5.23 ERA, 6 career starts against the Reds. 4 of those starts came last year. Remember, his initial spring training slowed somewhat because of inflammation of the ribs. So he was behind the rest of the starters, not by much. He stayed down in Florida on Saturday last week when the Pirates were playing these Reds in an exhibition game at Victory Field in Indianapolis, the home of the Pirates AAA affiliate, the Indianapolis Indians. And he pitched down in the minors in Bradenton. 2-2. Through 97 pitches against some AA players at Pirate City last Saturday. So he is ready. But the Reds have scored an early lead here. A run, already 3 hits and just 1 out, and he's fallen behind Bruce 3-2. Jay Bruce, the first round pick 2005 by the Reds. And up the middle, a 2-0 lead. Jay Bruce off to a hot start. 7 for 16, 8 runs batted in as he drives home Suarez from third.
Yeah, that would have been a nice one to have hit at somebody because it was hit so firmly. It's a hard back through the middle. That would have been an easy double play if somebody would have been able to make that catch.
Another look. Suarez in from third. Votto stops at second.
Yeah, now you're starting to have kind of two problems with this first inning. The runs going up on the board, and the pitch count's already starting to get elevated. This will be number 20, and still just one out.
Scott Schebler was 4 for 9 against the Phillies in that 3-game series. Schebler was acquired from the Dodgers in a 3-team trade. And there's a ground ball. 4, 6, 3. Double play, but 2 runs in. And the Reds have the early lead after 1. Garrett Cole disappointed back in the dugout. Tonight's Allegheny Health Network injury update, or this afternoon's. The Reds open the year with a host of starting pitchers on the DL. Homer Bailey recovering from Tommy John surgery last May. Anthony DeSclafani an oblique strain. John Lamb back surgery in the offseason. Michael Lorenzen ligament sprain. John Moscott intercostal sprain as well. So there's a rotation for the Reds currently on the disabled list. But their starter, their opening day starter, is on the hill this afternoon, and Raisel Iglesias gave up a 1-out hit to McCutchen, struck out Freeze, and now Francisco Cervelli leads off. Cervelli, 4 out of 15. Start the young season, 0-2 the count, was 0 for 4. Picked up an RBI. And last night's ball game in the 5th inning. With a ground out. Well, the Pirates trailed 2-0 after 1 last night. Came back to win it. Cervelli, Polanco, Harrison. 5, 6, 7 against Iglesias.
The Pirates right now in the situation they were in the entire game last night. Trying to scramble back. Never really fell behind by a long ways, but still, it didn't have a good feel last night, did it?
Didn't really until the
home run.
The good part was, though, it never got away from them. There's a line drive to center field for Cervelli. You know, Bobby, as bad as Liriano was with command last night, he kind of battled it throughout. 5 innings, 3 runs, 4 walks, never got away from him. The Pirates kept it close enough that enabled.
He wiggled out of some bases loaded situations. You know, it's just it was one of those nights, and he has like maybe 2 or 3 of these type games during the season where he just can't get enough chases out of the strike zone, and he can't throw the ball exactly where he wants it either. So it's like he's fighting every inning to get that 3rd out, and that's kind of how he was last night. And thank goodness the Reds weren't able to really get a big hit and really put him ahead by a bunch. I thought that Phillips play where he scored from second base on the wild pitch was that was going to be our undoing. But grand slams have a tendency to wipe all that stuff out. Marte with the big one.
And Polanco's night started with 3 below average at bats. He struck out each time against Alfredo Simon, and that after looking so comfortable in the 3-game series against the Cardinals at PNC Park. Then he drew a walk in an at-bat against the lefty Tony Cingrani and drove a ball to the wall in the 9th inning against Blake Wood. So Polanco has walked 6 times, struck out 4 times, and was 2 for 5 last year against Iglesias. As he battles this right-hander, Josh Harrison to follow. This lineup, opening day, last Sunday at PNC Park against the Cardinals. Jaso, McCutchen, Freeze, Marte hit cleanup, Cervelli, Polanco batting in the 6th hole. Harrison and Mercer coming up. And there's a fly ball to left center field. It's going to drop in. Schebler was playing deep in left field, and that enables Cervelli to scoot to 3rd. 1st and 3rd with nobody out here in the 2nd.
A good defensive move with the throw coming into 2nd. Didn't take the bait and turn and try to wheel toward 3rd base. You see a lot of outfielders will make this mistake where they think, oh, I got to go after that lead runner. But he did the right thing. He held Polanco at 1st. Yeah, it's weird watching the replay there. Almost like you could see him start to look toward 3rd.
Yeah, and thought better of it.
You could almost read his mind like, nope, better not. And then he went to second base with it.
Josh Harrison, 1st and 3rd. Iglesias paying attention to Polanco now.
Polanco's like Marte and Hamilton. There's not a pitch that goes home that they're not thinking about moving up like a snowflake.
Look at that. Snow falling. Got some snow in Pittsburgh today. Oh, 0-1 on Harrison. And the count 0-2 on Josh Harrison, who though he was 0 for 5 last night, he played a critical role defensively. He had a couple of tremendous plays on defense. But he chases, over anxious.
He's scuffling a little right now as far as the knowledge of the strike zone. He has really been chasing a lot of pitches down and away. You can see how far that one was outside.
Now a double play gets Iglesias out of it. Jordy Mercer hitting .333 through 4 games, 5 out of 15. Drove in a run last night, also scored a run.
See if Polanco can move to second, maybe get out of this double play situation.
Tucker Barnhart threw out runners at a 28% clip last year.
Polanco not a very big lead right now. A lot of times with him, though, it doesn't really mean much. He just gets out there where he's comfortable and
takes 4 steps. He's on second base.
Yeah, well, one thing about it, if you're not out there with that big lead, you can maybe, you can take off earlier. But you maximize that lead, and you're on kind of a little edge. Can I get back? Can I? You're worried about the pickoff, and then you're not getting that great jump. So what good is the big lead at that point? Oh, now he got off there pretty good.
Two balls, no strikes. Garrett Cole on deck, 1 out. Lined at the third baseman and Polanco, the short lead, but wandered well off the bag, and he's doubled up easily. Go to the bottom of the second. Reds up 2-0. PMC scoreboard. Head to the bottom of the second inning, and Gregory Polanco looked like he was almost tied to that first base bag until Jordy Mercer lines it to Suarez at third, and he has the easy double play.
Now, obviously, you always want to be freezing on the line drive, and for a regular player anyway, you don't want to get doubled off with a line drive to that side of the infield, either shortstop or third base. That's not viewed as acceptable. Line drive to second baseman, first baseman, they get the short throw, or they're just stepping back on the base, and there's not much you can do about it. But if you truly freeze on the line drive, when it's over to that side of the infield, you should be able to get back. But took a very aggressive secondary lead, wasn't running on the pitch. ball was hit. He took off for second. It shouldn't have been.
Now Van de Jesus, 0 for 6 so far, leads things off.
A great opportunity to get something on the board here early, and went nothing. First and third, nobody out.
Jesus hit .244 in 76 games last year. Garrett Cole, 19-8, 2.60 ERA last year. I remember he was called up in the summer of 2013. Really was the shot in the arm for the Bucks down the stretch, helping them clinch their first postseason since 1992. Went 10-7 his rookie year, and then 11-5 in 2014 with a couple of stints on the disabled list through 138 innings that year, but surpassed 200 innings last year, 208. And could not get a chase on the breaking ball to De Jesus. 2-2. Not a ton of swings and misses early on here for Garrett Cole. A little piano music in the background. I like that special effect, Bob. Is that yours?
No, I don't know where that came from.
Oh.
Not sure.
It sounded like, I don't know.
Somebody next door had a piano.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's on the other side of the fence here.
Oh.
I think it was Cowboy.
Ball 4. A leadoff walk. During the break, Josh Harrison and Andrew McCutchen talk hitting a little bit. McCutchen giving Jay a tip or two here.
Talking about staying back and trying to see the ball a little longer.
Not bad to have a guy like Andrew McCutchen in your dugout.
Absolutely.
With some advice on how to hit, right?
It's funny that the few days where he doesn't start, you can see he's always walking up and down with the bat, talking to every hitter.
Strike on Tucker Barnhart, the switch hitting catcher. Went 3 for 3. One of the games against the Phillies. Couple of quick strikes on him. 25 years old, Garrett Cole, Newport Beach, California native.
Nice place to be from.
Probably wouldn't mind having that weather right now. Although you've always said, I believe, you're one I know Steve has said, like pitching in the cold. You always felt like it was an advantage for the pitcher, right?
This wouldn't be bad at all today. Well, sun. It's weird how the wind's kind of swirling. The first inning was blowing in, now it's blowing straight out.
And maybe to kind of get a feel for the day, Garrett Cole decided to walk to the ballpark from the hotel. Not a bad walk across the river. Across the highway.
Does he stay in Kentucky?
Sometimes. Sometimes he does. Along the river is what I meant.
Across the river.
First,
oh yeah, I see his hotel over there.
It's I'm going to keep track this year of how many times I get that from the headset immediately from the gypsies in the truck. The burst of laughter. I really do wish we could have that. By the way, Zambelli fireworks will be over the Ohio River
Allegheny.
And the Allegheny, both. You guys are jerks now. Zambelli fireworks coming up after the game Saturday against the Brewers. That'll be the middle game of the 3-game series. Presented by First Energy. For tickets, go to pirates.com. The Tigers will be in on Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday night, then Thursday afternoon. And then the Brewers Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. And then the Pirates are going to be on the road for a week and a half. So make sure you get your tickets at pirates.com. And Jaso will make the catch on the bunt. So 2 outs, a walk, a strikeout, and Iglesias can't get the job done as he pops the bunt up down the first baseline. Bring up Billy Hamilton. Brian Price, 3rd year as skipper of these Reds. 2 of his coaches were let go after the season. Bench coach Jay Bell and pitching coach Jeff Pico. And Billy Hatcher, who spent about 10 years in the first base coaching box, moves over to the third base coach's box. And Freddie Benavides now coaching at first for the Reds. Here's Billy Hatcher. Benavides.
Kind of surprised they're going away.
Slap the ball again?
Yeah. You have Freeze, third baseman, drawn in, way in on the grass. Especially with a fastball, you know that's what Hamilton's going to try and do. Get it below the belt and in on him.
As we said earlier, the Pirates are one team that Billy Hamilton has had a lot of success against. Again.
Yeah, that was a mistake there, though. It looked like the target was inside. He just missed a spot by about 3 feet.
Cole just is not real sharp here. A 4-pitch walk.
And all 4 of those pitches up and away. And at least a couple of them definitely had an inside target. He is a little off control-wise right now.
Eugenio Suarez singled to right to score Hamilton, who had doubled in the first.
But, you know, like Francisco, Cole certainly has the stuff to fight through days where he can't put the ball exactly right where he wants to. Just makes it more difficult, and it means also that you're probably not out there all that long because that pitch count gets elevated. After about 5 innings, you're pushing 100. Nice breaking ball right where he would like it.
See the pitch count, 41 of them already for Cole. Pop up into shallow center field, and McCutchen there. The 2 walks, both men left. Go to the third, 2-0 Cincy. inning. Andrew McCutchen, we've talked about it, has been playing shallow center field. It's where he started off on this pop-up by Suarez.
Well, last year, Greg, I think this is going to be a base hit. A little dunker, but just an easy play for McCutchen, running in with his speed to close the gap, made an easy catch. But there is a big difference on where he is stationed on everybody this season, and it showed up last night in the other direction. He had to go back on a lot of balls last night.
We weren't used to seeing that much last year.
There was one, remember the one he kind of almost had to dive for. He made that catch over the shoulder. And normally he's kind of already back there for those. The whole reason for it is, we just saw it, is so that you take away some of those dunk hits. They went through the analytics over the winter and decided that they needed to try and take away some of those short singles that were falling in front of the outfielders. They started it right from the very first game. We noticed it in spring training.
Rick Sofield, Pirates outfield coach and third base coach, saw a shot of him, and you see Cole walk away after being called out on strikes. Stay tuned after the game. First weekly Inside Pirates Baseball. See how the Pirates are a prime example of baseball's shift in becoming a world game. And hear Rick Sofield shine on the microphone and much more. Inside Pirates Baseball presented by Allegheny Health Network today after postgame on Root Sports. Working there with John Jaso, and here is the Pirates first baseman. Jaso swung at the first pitch of the game and bounced out to Joey Votto. That rally last night for the Pirates really started with Jaso at the plate after Ross Ollendorf got 2 routine outs. Jaso worked to count to 3-2 against Ollendorf, who is old school, goes into that full windup, swings his arms back behind his back, then up over his head. Well, decided to almost quick pitch him going into the stretch and hit him. And that was Ollendorf's undoing. He would wild pitch Jaso to second, walk McCutchen. David Freese singled, and that was it for Ollendorf. J.J. Hoover, the closer, taking over for Aroldis Chapman, came in and gave up the granny to Marte.
Be interesting this year to see how this plays out as far as their bullpen. Who's going to? We know it's Hoover's job here at the start of the season. Will he keep it?
Was this pitch outside? Jaso thought it was.
And yes, it was outside.
Instead, a little dunker into left field for John Jaso. And he's thinking double. Good heads up, aggressive base running for John Jaso. A double to left.
Caught Phillips napping. Nobody covers second base on this.
Schebler, the left fielder.
When he picks the ball up, there's nobody at second to throw to. He throws to the bag anyway, and Phillips came running in from his position and still never got to second base.
Now, Phillips didn't have the ball in his glove. You just saw that shot.
Well, the throw was to second, not to him. That was the problem.
A lot of guys kind of standing around there.
Nobody's going to the base.
Look at that. Nobody's
just
moving.
Standing. Yeah,
all the infielders just standing there.
Right at the last moment, he had to run in there and try to catch the ball, which he didn't catch.
That was really kind of bizarre. And McCutchen pops it up. Foul territory. Tucker Barnhart, third baseman Suarez calls off Barnhart. So the third baseman makes the catch on the foul pop. Jaso still at second with 2 outs. Now the Pirates hitless with men in scoring position until that 8th inning last night. 0 for 9, and then David Freese had the base hit and infield single with 2 outs before the Marte home run. Pirates 0 for 3 to start this afternoon's game in those situations. I think you were pointing out, Bob, on the radio side last night that in order to make up for the home run power that is gone, in particular from Neil Walker and Pedro Alvarez, to make up for lost home runs, they have to win games in other ways. And that includes, a high on base percentage will help, but coming through with men in scoring position is critical.
Yeah, those are going to be 2 numbers that we follow closely if the home runs are lower, much lower than they were last year. Are they getting on base, which is a yes so far in the first 4 games. But the hitting batting average with runners in scoring position also needs to be, at least middle of the road, decent. Take advantage of those base runners that are getting on. And we saw a lot of Baltimore in spring training. They just down the road in Sarasota, and their team put together almost the opposite, to where on base percentage, runners in scoring position numbers, they could still score a lot of runs even if those averages aren't that great. There, especially in that home ballpark of theirs, they got a bunch of guys that are going to hit a lot of home runs. They'll strike out a lot, but they'll hit a lot of home runs. Different ways to do things.
Just gets a piece of it.
But the foundation of any team is going to be that starting rotation. None of that other stuff really is going to matter much if you don't pitch well. That's what I think is going to be really the final, the key to the year is what's the Bucco starting rotation do.
Freese fouls off another. Barnhart's going to talk to Iglesias. David Freese looks for his first Pirate ribby. Barnhart talks with his pitcher as Jaso, an aggressive hustling double with 1 out, but he's still there now with 2 down.
Still talking out there. Greg, a few years ago you said that you didn't think that they should allow catchers to go to the hill, so I know you don't like that. Do you think that since they've gone to the point now to where they start a clock when someone from the dugout goes to the hill, that maybe they should do a similar thing with the catchers? That they could go out there, but maybe let's hold it to say your piece in 10 seconds or something? I don't know. Just
yeah, I guess so. It could.
The reason I bring it up is because they've gone down that road.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, I've been on that soapbox for a while. I still think that just to me, they would just eliminate that whole thing.
I think there are catchers that make way too many trips to the mound.
And they're probably going to be more so now. I don't know, maybe with that. I don't know if that pitch clock will affect that at all. The pitching coach pitch clock. But that would force more visits to the mound from catchers or not. I just think it's an easy way to speed up the game, eliminate those in time, or again make that count as a trip to the mound, even if it's by the catcher. Jaso at second with 2 down. But as you said on the radio side, we're not going to talk rules anymore.
No, well, we're going to talk about them, but we're going to call them regulations. That's how I got around it.
2-2. Did he go? Yep. Joe West brings him up. 4th strikeout, 2-0 Reds. $5K, $10K presented by Allegheny Health Network and Highmark set for next Saturday. Participants get a Tech t-shirt and ticket voucher good for a Buccos game. And families can join in the fun with the Chick-fil-A 1 Mile Family Fun Run. Register today at pirates.com/home run. Coming up next Saturday. UPMC scoreboard 2-0 Reds going to the bottom of the 3rd inning. You see the hits even at 4 apiece. On a chilly afternoon, 38 degrees at game time. Wind chill makes it feel like 29. Breaking ball, good pitch, but called a ball. Maybe inside to Joey Votto.
The way it feels, Greg, it feels like it's colder now than when the game started.
That sun.
The sunshine has gone away.
Well, it should have been a strike. 1 ball, 2-0 now.
You can see again the control just not there. At 94, that's a fastball, and he bounces the fastball in the dirt, and it was way inside.
Three and one. Cole walked 2 Reds last inning, and he has fallen behind Joey Votto 3-1. Puts it there, 3-2. National League All-Star. That game played here last summer. He pitched a scoreless inning in the Midsummer Classic. Votto again with 2 strikes will choke up even more on that handle, and here Cole comes back to get him.
Really interesting that at bat. Votto's approach. He's in driver's seat 3-1. He got a fastball. Look at the number 5 pitch there in the corner. That's right where he wants it. He takes that. Doesn't even no check swing, no nothing. And then ends up striking out on a very borderline pitch. Why would he take that 3-1 pitch right there? That's one of the things that some of the people around Cincinnati talk about, is that
it makes you wonder if he wants the walk.
Yeah, it's like he hits like a leadoff guy, like he should be hitting number 1 in your lineup at times.
I mean, there it looked like a late decision to swing because he knew it was going to be a strike, so he had to swing, but almost because he took that previous pitch.
A middle of the lineup hitter doesn't take a 3-1 fastball right down the middle. I mean, unless there's something else going on that we don't know about. You know, I mean, he's not seeing the ball well, or you know, I mean, there's always can be a different side to everything. Like Jaso, for instance, I would expect him to take that pitch. Maybe not expect him to take it, but wouldn't be surprised if he did. On the other hand, I would be surprised to see McCutchen take that pitch. You know, an inside half fastball on a 3-1 count that's, you know, mid-thigh. If you were asking for a pitch to drive, that might be the one you ask for. You're like, okay, well, give me a fastball right here. And I'll be looking for it. I'll start early. I'll be aggressive. Look to turn on the ball and hit it in that river you were talking about.
One that you crossed. Bounced foul. Was that last year, a couple years ago, where we were, John and I were on radio.
I was waving to you.
It was a radio-only game. We weren't on Root Sports. And I said, John, there is a guy across the river on that little area there. Beach, yeah. Get your binoculars out. Could that be Bob Walk? And sure enough, you were waving to us. Bounce to short, Mercer. Retires Brandon Phillips.
Yeah, there were some people over there fishing. What was weird about it is that I've always sat here over the years and wondered what it would be like to be over there fishing on the banks of the Ohio. And so I had the off day, and I just decided I'm going to do it during a ball game. It's right at the Licking River that comes in over across the way. That one got Cervelli.
Yeah. Tells the trainers, okay, I don't need, gonna need a little time. That's all. That's great to see. Wave off the train. Don't even think about it. Stay in that dugout.
That one stung him a little bit. Oh, it's cold too. Yeah, that makes it worse. You know, there's nothing that
trainers
there's nothing you can do about
it.
Yeah. Cervelli's the only one who can do anything about it. Jog in place, rub on it, try to get some feeling back in there.
And Hurdle likes it. Jay Bruce, a count now of 1 ball and 1 strike. Francisco Cervelli, what a year in his first season with the Pirates. Played in 130 games. 129 of them behind the plate. That was second behind Yadier Molina in the National League. Two balls, 2 strikes on Jay Bruce.
Ball actually was on the plate, Greg.
Was it really?
That last pitch, yeah.
Well, that's a better inning for Garrett Cole. 1, 2, 3, strikes out a couple. Here in Cincinnati.
It's time for the Toyota RAV 4th inning. The all-wheel drive RAV hybrid has performance that will make you rethink hybrid. Let's go Bucks!
2-0 ball game. Pirates trail going to the 4th inning. Francisco Cervelli will be on deck. Garrett Cole back to the dugout. A 1-2-3. Bottom of the 3rd. Grounds crew getting off the field. Whoa! Round of applause.
I got a little far out over the skis there. Just in a hurry. He was trying to get out of there.
They're having a grand old time with that. Starling Marte takes ball 2. Watch it again in case you just missed it. Watch. Whoa.
Not a lot of help from anybody either.
No,
Just get up yourself.
3-0. See if Iglesias can help the Pirates. He snatches that ball back from Barnhart. Upset with himself there. Falling behind Marte, 3-0. Did not walk a batter opening day against the Phillies on Monday. Last year, 28 walks in 95 innings with 104 strikeouts. And he gets Marte. Phillips out, right fielder Bruce. 1 down. Brandon Phillips will pretend he's going to make the catch, but this will be Bruce. Brandon Phillips turned down at least one, if not a couple, of opportunities to move on to a contender over the winter. Washington Nationals worked out a deal with the Reds, but Phillips turned it down. Reportedly, the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to trade for Brandon Phillips. He decides to stay here in Cincinnati. And some believe it's because of that that the Reds were forced to trade Todd Frazier. They would have preferred to move Phillips. Longtime second baseman. He and Joey Votto, in fact, have made 976 starts together, the most on the right side of the infield for any tandem in Reds history. Dick Williams took over as general manager over the winter. Walt Jocketty still very much involved, but Dick Williams will bring a lot of analytics to the front office. Three and one on Cervelli. Back-to-back batters. Iglesias falls behind.
Cervelli very good at laying off a lot of those tight pitches that just miss like that. He's a guy that he waits a long time, watches the ball travel.
1 out walk.
He won't swing at a lot of bad pitches.
MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, StatCast, newscasts, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. We'll bring up Gregory Polanco. 1 of 4 Pirate hits. This one toward left. And that will get down. Cervelli and Polanco were not convinced that was going to get down. Must be a difficult read from down there. Schebler had a long run.
Yeah, if Cervelli, if he knew that was going to land, he should have easily got to third base. But I wasn't convinced either, Greg. I mean, from our view up here, I thought, well, he might get make that catch, but as it was, he didn't come anywhere close to it. Ball had a lot of slice.
Yeah.
And Polanco, he can't do anything unless Cervelli does.
Another man in scoring position for the Pirates. 0 for 4 so far this afternoon.
This scenario, Harrison had these two guys on last time up. I think it was first and third then.
Josh Harrison night tonight at his old stomping grounds, University of Cincinnati. He'll throw out the ceremonial first pitch before the Bearcats play tonight under the lights. 1 ball and 1 strike. They're promoting that. Robbie and Smikowski will be there to watch Jay Hay throw out the first pitch. At Marge Schott Stadium, named after the former and late longtime owner of the Reds. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 and 2 on Jay Hay.
He's trying to stay back. He's trying to wait so he won't chase, but now he's not catching up to the fastball. Fouled it straight back, a little late on that one. He's getting himself kind of caught in between.
Andrew McCutchen was trying to offer Harrison a little bit of advice after that second inning at bat, where he struck out, chasing the ball well out of the zone. Still talking about staying back. One-two pitch lined into left field. Rick Sofield will hold Cervelli. Well, Josh Harrison rips it into left. Bases are loaded.
They got a breaking ball that was on the plate this time. Now, a lot of those have been off the plate away from him, and he just hadn't been able to reach him. He left that one in the strike zone. There it is. And it's just not breaking very much. It only broke a couple inches at most. Stayed over the plate. Jay Hay got the head of the bat to it, hit it hard through the hole.
Jordy Mercer lined to third baseman Eugenio Suarez, turned it into a double play as Polanco had wandered too far off the first base bag back in the second.
Be nice to hit it over Suarez's head. Get down that left field corner. Watch Jay Hay score from first.
Bouncing ball, and the shortstop there going to turn it into an inning-ending double play. De Jesus stepping on the bag onto first. 2-0 Reds. Reds lead. Jordy Mercer bounces into the inning-ending 6-3 double play. Garrett Cole had a 1-2-3 third. Looked much better, sharper. We got a tweet from a guy who some similarities in terms of facial appearance to Garrett Cole. That is Dominic Morey. Dom, shout out to my twin Garrett Cole for his first start of the year today. Let's get a Pirates dub. The Pirates right-hander Garrett Cole, and that is Dominic Morey out of Hempfield High School. Attends Gannon University in Erie, a freshman infielder for the Golden Knights. Here's Scott Schebler. He takes ball one. He bounced into a double play in the first.
A double play sure play a big part in these ball games, don't they? Going both ways. Cole's able to get a big one earlier than he needed.
Two count on Schebler. Stays 2-2 on a former 26th round pick of the Dodgers back in 2010, facing the Pirates' first round pick in Garrett Cole. Two. Ivan De Jesus is creeping almost directly behind home plate, a few feet off behind the left-handed batter's box.
Could almost get hit by a wild pitch.
Yeah, you can. Bounce to second. One out in the bottom of the fourth. Cole seems to be getting it together. He gave up a couple of flares in that first inning. A couple of runs in the first and walked a pair in the second, including Ivan De Jesus leading off that frame. The foot. Son of the former big leaguer. This is Ivan De Jesus Jr.
Ankle. Oh, that hurt.
Boy. Close pitch, 1-1.
Yeah, I think that was a strike.
Yes, it was. That's why Cervelli kept it there longer than usual. 2-1 on De Jesus.
It really hurts you on days where maybe your control is not quite as good as it normally would be, and then you don't get a pitch.
Oh, look at Jaso knock it down, keep it himself, step on the bag.
Been playing there for years.
John Jaso. Fine play, diving to his left.
That's what you got to do at first base. Just tackle the ball. Keep that baby in front of you. Boy, you went a long ways for that. I didn't realize it. Good lateral movement. a long ways last month. Remember the first game?
Yeah, first game tested him.
It was not good.
Yeah.
Well, really the first inning. First inning he played out there didn't go very well, but since then he's been doing just fine.
And as we have said from the very beginning, when they signed him, first of all, he decided he wanted to, as Clint Hurdle said, be a baseball player rather than go to the American League and DH. Couldn't catch anymore because of the concussion issues, and he wanted to be an above average first baseman. He showed that by attending that voluntary mini camp in January, and he stayed there for an extra few weeks working with Kevin Young. And then when the team officially reported to Pirate City, put in hours and hours working on side fields. Even when the games began, if he weren't in the starting lineup, he'd be out there with Nick Leyva and Kevin Young, putting in the time and the effort. So important to show that commitment, wanting to be good over there. Still 2-2 on Tucker Barnhart, struck out in the second. A lot of afternoon baseball today, handful of games. Toronto and Boston tied at 4 in the 5th. Up in Toronto, Yankees shutting out the Detroit Tigers in Detroit, 6-zip in the 4th. Cleveland White Sox scoreless in the 2nd. Giants and Dodgers will be getting underway a little bit later on this afternoon. If you had a chance to see the rookie for the Dodgers last night, Bob, lifted with a no-hitter going. With 1 out in the 8th inning, he reached the 100 pitch mark. And Dave Roberts pulled Ross Stripling in his big league debut. 7 1/3 innings of no-hit ball. As soon as it reached the 100 pitch mark, he was lifted from the ball game, coming off Tommy John surgery a couple years ago. 3-2, jammed him. Cole will take it. On to Jaso. 1-2-3 for the second consecutive inning. Pirates trail by a couple.
Ballpark. I'm Robbie and Smikowski. When the Reds began the 2016 season, they began without one of their own icons, a guy that fans didn't see very much, and that is Bernie Stowe. And he's a guy the players relied on every single day at work. He was a longtime clubhouse manager for the Reds who passed away in February at the age of 80. Bernie started with the Reds as a bat boy in 1947 when he was just 12 years of age. He spent 67 seasons with the Reds until he retired back in 2014 when he was honored by the Reds, and a lot of former players came back to pay tribute to a wonderful man. And Scott Bonnet, the Pirates equipment manager, spent the first 12 years of his baseball career working as a bat boy for Bernie Stowe. Bones was the bat boy for the 1990 World Series Reds team, and Bernie's legacy, Greg and Bob, lives on here at Great American Ballpark as his son Rick is the Reds equipment manager and Mark is the visiting clubhouse manager here at the Reds ballpark. So really cool tribute to a wonderful man who spent a long, long time with this franchise.
It shows you how important he was, that patch on the sleeves of all the players. In tribute to Bernie Stowe, a high throw, and Garrett Cole will be retired. Here's Scott Bonnet. Scott Bonnet and the patch on the sleeves for Bernie Stowe. Clint Hurdle played for the Reds 1982. Played about 20 games, and he too remembered Bernie Stowe. Said he was a guy that might have been a little rough around the edges, but once he got to know you and you became a big leaguer, he would have special relationships with each and every one of the players, in particular with Clint Hurdle. The manager would come out and post the lineup almost every night, and Clint was a part-time player, and he said Bernie Stowe would yell, "Hey Clint, you missed another one." In terms of the starting lineup, Clint would rarely be in that starting lineup. Bernie Stowe.
Remember the old guard, that's for sure.
Well,
those old guys, they were. There's a number of them that around baseball that were really revered.
You had your own in Foley, right?
Yeah.
John Hallahan.
John Hallahan was a similar type guy. That, I mean, he would give it to the players. That's for sure. And there was always that give and take going back and forth, and it was a lot of fun. And I can remember. I mean, this is how the team felt about Hooley. When he passed away, the team was in Philadelphia. We got on an airplane, the entire team flew back to Pittsburgh for the funeral, then flew back to Philly to play the game that night.
That's
the entire team.
That's all you need to know about what he meant to the Pirates. The whole team getting on a plane.
The organization, getting that plane to bring everybody back. When I first started in baseball, there was a lot of guys that were just legendary. The clubhouse guys, they were in that job for 40, 50, 60 years, and they all started as very, very young, and obviously knew all the great ones, all the Hall of Famers.
Jaso pops up to short. Two down in the fifth. He would give you a heads up if there was a player change going to happen. He would walk by and he would kind of whisper to you, "There's going to be a change in the weather." That was always what he would say, and then you knew, uh-oh, going to be a new face and somebody's leaving. Foley would walk around that clubhouse down at whether it was Pirate City or McKechnie in the spring or Three River Stadium in the summer, and he'd always have that styrofoam cup of coffee.
Yeah. You wouldn't see him without that cup. Yep.
Just that little cup of styrofoam. Doesn't matter, day or night, he had that. Here's Bones.
He's got his cup of coffee.
He does. Ball to strike on Andrew McCutchen, singled in the first, fouled out in the third. Maybe not thrilled about that call. That was a pitch that was out of the zone. See that second pitch, the number 2, that was called a strike. damage. The seats after bouncing on the roof of the clubhouse.
We were talking earlier about Iglesias it not being a hard thrower, not a stuff guy, but a true pitcher. I mean, it's all about changing speeds with him. I think more than moving the ball around control-wise. You don't see a lot of guys, you know, really on anything. A little bit late on the fastball, a little out in front on that breaking pitch. Just very deceptive with the speed, and he's got natural movement because of the delivery angle that he varies a little. Arm angle, sometimes it's 3/4. There's been a few pitches where he drops down just flat out sidearm, and he'll either sweep the plate with kind of like what you call a big high school curveball, or he'll throw the fastball from down there, and that angle will put a tail on it and it'll run in on your hands.
In the air to right, Bruce going back, and he'll make the catch. The Pirates go down in order for the first time this afternoon at the halfway mark. Reds still up 2-0.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the all-new Chevy Malibu and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Barrow. Visit our brand new Kia showroom in Wexford. More vehicles than ever at the very best prices. Let's go Bucks!
2-0 ball game in Cincinnati. Into the bottom of the fifth inning. Mr. Redlegs, Mr. Red. I think Mrs. Red was walking around here somewhere. Cole faces Raisel Iglesias, his non-opponent. Three strikeouts for Cole in his 2016 debut. Got off to such a great start last year, playing in the All-Star game here in Cincinnati. Weekly hit back to the box, 1 out. Point Park University tweets. Day 21. The Perlakis love the Pittsburgh Pirates. Cincinnati for the day. There's Hannah. Let's go Bucks. Hashtag let's go Bucks. Twitter or Instagram. Share your tweets, your messages with us.
What are you on, Greg? Your Twitter or your
I've had
Instagram?
been about a year. I've been tweeting now, Bob.
Are you thinking about
and
going to Instagramming?
I cannot tell you how many. What do you call them? Tweeps? You know what they call the people that follow you. All right. Anyway, how many people ask, please, can you get Bob Walk to tweet?
Yeah, I think Twitter is passe.
Really?
Yeah, there's going to be something new.
Well, all right. Well, why don't you go for something new? Are you a Snapchat guy?
No, I'm going to wait until it really emerges as a dominant thing, and then that's what I'm going to do.
You're waiting for something to emerge as the dominant thing.
Yeah. It was almost Twitter.
Yeah. Facebook? You on Facebook?
Didn't quite make it.
Facebook didn't make it? Is that passe too?
I don't know if that's going to make it or not.
Rock on the right, MySpace, I think. Joe Block, he's into everything. That's the Block and Rock show on radio.
I just started email, Greg. Got that figured out.
Can you teach Blast?
He and I are going to learn together.
2-2 on Billy Hamilton. This pesky center fielder doubled in the first and scored the first run, then walked in the second. Cole will throw his 90th pitch here. And struck him out looking.
Ball was right there.
Remember, the Bucks are back. So are Free Shirt Fridays next Friday. Pirates Brewers 7:05. Be one of the first 20,000 fans through the gates. Get a free Pirates t-shirt. Brought to you by Point Park University. For tickets, go to pirates.com/Free Shirt Friday. Come on out and see the Bucks. Just a 5-game homestand. Finish up the home-and-home interleague series with the Tigers. Wednesday night, 7:05. First weekday matinee game next Thursday at 12:35. Then those Brewers. Free Shirt Friday, fireworks night next Saturday, Kids Sunday. And then make their first trip out west. They'll finish up the month of April with these Reds. One and two on Suarez. First National League pitcher to win 13 or more games by the All-Star break since 2010 when he pulled that off last year. Just the third Pirates pitcher to lead the major leagues in wins at the All-Star break. Had 13 W's by the break last year. Ray Searage looks on, and Archimedes Caminero starts to loosen in the Pirates' pen.
That was another one of those fastballs that went straight into the dirt way outside.
Jaso over, and a diving effort. John Jaso.
I don't think he came up with it.
No, he didn't, but heck of a try, and going to help that Reds fan back up.
I mean, he did everything he could. He dove in there trying to make that catch.
Great try by Jaso.
Definitely, he had crushed the gentleman in the white hair.
Allegheny Health Network Supermo look again at the effort.
nobody. There was all those gloves there. Nobody touched it. You see the ball just went straight through untouched.
Third walk for Cole.
We've seen times where he's missed badly with a fastball today, and by badly I mean, you know, by feet from where he's trying to throw the ball, and that's I think more than anything else that red flag that he's just not right today with his control. You know, I don't know if it's the weather. It's cold. Maybe he's not feeling the ball well. That we've seen him lick his fingers quite a bit, and that can be one thing that you know, guys will have a problem with when it's cold out there. Not necessarily getting loose, but they just can't feel the ball because they can't get any moisture going. Right there, you could see him moving his fingers and rubbing them together. You used to not be able to lick your hand like that, but nowadays it's changed. That what, 2-3 years ago, where you could actually be on the mound and lick your fingers. That at one time was a no-no. You could only do that if you were on the grass.
On certain days they'll give pitchers that leeway.
Oh, where you can blow on your hands.
Yeah. Oh, and 1 on Joey Votto, who has singled and struck out. Cole allowed 4 hits in that first inning. The only other base runners since have come via the free pass. He's out in front of Votto, 0-2. Votto, the 2010 National League MVP in his 9th full season. Shortens up there and pokes it into left.
You know how the last couple of years they had him hitting second? He hits like a number 2 hitter. Just trying to punch the ball somewhere. You know, it reminds you like of Tim Foley, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He's choking up the bat by 3 or 4 inches and just trying to punch the ball somewhere.
It's going to be it for Cole. He will not go even 5 innings in his first start. Caminero coming on. Not what he would have wanted. He ends up going just 4 2/3. He allows 6 hits, got a double play ball to end the first, could have been worse. Ended up walking 3 batters, striking out 4. He got the first 2 outs of this 5th inning before walking Suarez and giving up the opposite field hit to Joey Votto. So an incomplete line, 2 runs to this point, responsible for the 2 on, 6 hits. And Archimedes Caminero already appearing in 3 of the first 5 games of the year. Faces Brandon Phillips.
I think Cole will probably say after the game that it really was just lack of command that was his undoing this afternoon. 4 2/3 and 100 pitches.
Phillips, a fly ball to left. Marte, oh my, looks like Marte was going to make the play. Throw to third, they'll get the out there, but a run will score. Boy, it looked as though that was almost going to be a routine pop-up, but Marte put on the brakes, the ball drops. RBI single for Phillips, they throw out Votto at third. And the Reds get a run and lead 3-0. An assist, but the ball left the bat. Initially, looked like it was going to be a put out. Phillips hit the ball in the air to left. Marte, a little bit of a late break, and
yeah, he either has totally misread this or he lost it for a while. There you can see how he just kind of stood there for 1,001, 1,002, and maybe 2.5 before he broke to come in.
Look how close that is to having that run score, by the way. Francisco Cervelli is pointing to the third base bag where the play is made, and he's looking at the home plate umpire, Mark Ripberger, trying to convince him that the out was recorded before that run scored, but not to be. Suarez just did score before that play was made at third base. Votto thrown out. 7-5.
Yeah, made the third out at third base.
Almost cost the Reds a run. David Freese has struck out twice.
That breaking ball again. Seems to be giving a lot of the hitters fits.
$18 starts for the Reds last year for Iglesias. Started opening day against the Phillies. This pop up into shallow center field, caught by Hamilton. And Starling Marte steps to the plate. Bringing the Lumbers, brought to you by Yellowwood. And the first home run of the 2016 season belongs to Starling Marte. His first career grand slam with 2 outs in the 8th inning off J.J. Hoover, erasing a 5-2 deficit and giving the Pirates a 6-5 win. Today he's 0 for 2. And with the third baseman Suarez back, he looking to drop a bunt down that way.
A couple of his hits yesterday were infield variety. I can't think anybody off the top of my head that's quicker to first base from the right-hand hitter's batter's box than he is. Iglesias today just showing everybody you don't have to throw hard. The pitch very effective in this league. The last 2 fastballs at 89 miles an hour.
It's number 5 for Iglesias.
The breaking ball way outside. What is that? What, 6-7 inches away off the plate?
Cervelli has singled and walked. The one thing we talked about last night, fact that this Reds bullpen is so different without Aroldis Chapman, the shutdown closer in the 9th. If you can keep these Reds close and get a tough starter out of there, you do have a chance against the bullpen. There's another base hit for Cervelli. 2 outs, single to right center. On base 3 times.
Cervelli, he's got the good approach for this type of guy. Let the ball get very deep and take the off-speed pitch the other way. And if you're doing that, if you're waiting a long time, then you won't chase after that pitch at 6-7 inches outside.
Polanco, a couple of hits the other way against Iglesias. Cervelli holds it first.
Cervelli always has a good game plan when it goes to the plate. I mean, he knows what he does well and stays within himself. Knows that running the bases is he's not the fastest guy in the world out there, so he's stayed home. Down by 3, you don't want to make an out on the bases.
Ball 2.
Also giving romance advice too. He knows about that.
That's right. New scoreboard feature. Classic at PNC.
Pretty good. I really enjoyed that.
Oh man, I think that's the best they've done. That is tremendous. You can see those features when the Pirates return, take on the Detroit Tigers on Wednesday night.
His outfit was perfect.
Yeah. Smoking robe, checking out the letters. Matt Zidek and the scoreboard crew do a great job, but that one has to be, for me anyway, the best.
Yeah, I loved it.
And I mean, the perfect character in Cervelli to play that role.
You could tell that he loved it too.
Yeah, he played along with it, didn't he? Yeah.
He really bought into it.
What was the one, Bob, the other night? Is it okay to break up with
by
texting?
Twitter or something?
No.
Yeah.
Now 3-1.
The other one I think was, what do you do when your date just keeps staring at the phone and stuff? Excuse yourself to the bathroom and just leave.
In his accent, of course, classic.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. 3-1. And Polanco aboard. 2 on, 2 outs. Gregory Polanco has walked 7 times the first 5 games, leading the National League. Again, here's a man in scoring position, and out comes Mark Riggins, the pitching coach.
It's a lot like last night when we need a hero.
Yep.
Somebody to get that big, important hit. And this is an inning. Iglesias getting up close to 100 pitches himself now. That last one was 93.
We saw Wood last night. Coming out of the bullpen. Blake Wood finished up for the Reds, the 9th inning in last night's ball game, and he is ready should Iglesias not get Harrison here. Jay has the 1 hit with a man in scoring position this afternoon. Pirates 1 for 6 in these situations. Hit the ball hard to left field. Unfortunately, could not score Cervelli from second. Next batter, Jordy Mercer, bounced into an inning-ending double play. So big at bat in this ball game. Barnhart looked like he wanted to gun it down toward first. Two on, 2 out. Trying to get on the board. Line to center field, a base hit. Cervelli going to try to score. Hamilton does not have a very good arm, and he will score, and the ball gets away, and both runners will move up 90 feet. It is 3-1.
Cervelli's all right. That was kind of unusual coming home. He had to jump over the catcher to get to the plate.
RBI single for Harrison. An error will move the runners up another 90 feet.
And the throw took Barnhart right into the path of Cervelli. Could have been a little dangerous. You're not planning this. You don't know what to expect. So this is just a last-minute thing. You're kind of jumping around, and then you could see how he landed a little awkwardly on that ankle. But no problem.
Jose Iglesias leaves to a nice ovation and doffs his cap. And it ain't over yet. It's 3-1. 2/3 innings allows 8 hits, 1 run to this point, and look at this reaction when he leaves. The ovation. Five and 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 1 run to this point, responsible for 2 men on in scoring position. And if Jordy Mercer can deliver against Blake Wood, it could be a no decision for Iglesias. Wood pitched a 1-2-3 ninth in last night's game. He struck out Mercer in the ninth. Wood pitched for the Pirates AAA affiliate in Indianapolis last year. He was the Indians closer and led the International League with 29 saves. Got Mercer to pop up for Votto. Pirates get 1. Head to the bottom of the 6th. Reds up 3-1. $15 years ago, Pirates open up PNC Park against the Reds. Kevin McClatchy throws out the first pitch. Number 8 jersey honoring Willie Stargell, who passed away early that morning. First inning, Pittsburgh native Sean Casey. First home run in the Park's history. Finishes the day 4 hits, 5 ribbies. Reds beat the Pirates 8-2 to spoil the home opener, opening day on this date. PNC Park history. And some truly unforgettable moments over the years since that very first game. Of course, the Pirates played an exhibition game against the Mets before the official opener. Caminero faces Jay Bruce.
Really getting to the point now you're starting to build up a little history there at PNC Park.
That's right.
Getting where there's quite a few nice moments and important things to look back on. Time flies.
Mm-hmm. Pulled foul. Yes, he did. Cervelli didn't even wait.
No.
And the home plate umpire not thrilled with him. Strikeout after the appeal to Andy Fletcher.
I said anything, I said, well, then you should call full swing strikes in. I mean, look at the swing. Come on.
Bruce didn't think so. It's hard, but at the second baseman, but Josh Harrison cannot handle the smash. He will be charged with the error.
Got one knee down, still snuck through.
Now Ivan DeJesus Jr., who's walked and bounced to first. John Jaso made a nice play on DeJesus in the fourth. Caminero, 98 miles an hour there to DeJesus. One strike. Jesus spent a little bit of time in the Pirates organization. He was involved in the Mark Melanson, Joel Hanrahan deal. Schebler on at first. Kivas Sampson getting ready as we approach the pitcher spot in the batting order. Runner goes, pitch out. A little double clutch, but an easy out for the Pirates as they nab Schebler. 2-4 on the caught stealing.
You know, when Schebler throwing on the brakes like that, makes you believe that they sniffed out a hit and run. You know, if it's a straight steal, you don't even know it was pitch out.
Right. And Cervelli, after throwing to second, ready to cover first. Call for the pitch out, the perfect time. Now DeJesus to right.
Score some runs.
Yes. Go to the 7th inning. Down just a couple.
you gonna win?
Fabulous shots from the Allegheny Health Network Supermo. 3-1 Reds. 7th inning. Pirates looking for back-to-back comeback wins to try and stay perfect in 2016. Raisel Iglesias went 5 2/3, gave up 1 run on 8 hits. Blake Wood got the last out of the 6th. Now faces the pinch hitter Matt Joyce. Hits for Caminero. Joyce limited to pinch hitting duties so far and 0 for 3.
With them using the same lineup every night, it's a good thing the pitchers are hitting. Gives a bench an opportunity to get in the game.
He has drawn 1 walk.
It's an American League. These guys wouldn't have any playing time at all.
Yeah.
Been sitting over there doing nothing the whole time.
Two count on Matt Joyce, one of 3 non-roster invitees to spring training. Pirates had to make the move before opening day, adding the 3 men. You have to go back to 2003, the last time a Pirates team brought on board 3 non-roster players opening day. This year they added Joyce, Cole Figueroa, and Corey Lupke. Back in 03, it was Jeff D'Amico, Dennis Reyes, and Julian Taveras. 3 2.
Last time they started the season, winning 4 straight also, wasn't it?
Same year.
Was that 2003?
Yes.
That's the key to a fast start then, I guess. Huh?
Non-roster guys. Kyle Lobstein will be coming on for the Pirates in the bottom of the 7th inning. See if Matt Joyce can get on board against Blake Wood. He will. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Jay Bruce had an RBI single in the 1st inning. Reds scored twice in the 1st off Cole. They added a run in the 5th on the base hit by Phillips. That final out was recorded at 3rd base. The Pirates getting a run in the 6th. John Jaso now. He has one of the Pirates' 8 hits. Time called right away. Tucker Barnhart out to talk to Blake Wood. Big league time with the Royals and the Cleveland Indians for Blake Wood, but last year, the entire season at AAA Indy in the Pirates organization, a 3.53 ERA, and led the International League with 29 saves. Former 3rd-round pick of the Royals in 2006. Georgia Tech. A 2-0 count on Jaso.
Well, you just hate this when you have that.
There's a manager.
2-run lead, yeah, and you go to the bullpen and lead off walk to start the inning. Now 2-0 to the next guy.
The other way toward the line, going to drop in for a hit into the corner, cut off by Schebler. Double for Jaso. Pirates in business here in the 7th.
And you know, this is what happens when that you pitch like that. Jaso able to kind of dump one down the foul line, just fair, and now you have the tying run standing on second base. There's nobody out.
John John Jaso with 2 hits, both doubles. And now he has 5 hits in the early going as a bucko and 3 for extra bases. The other was a triple the other night at PNC Park, moving Matt Joyce to third and Andrew McCutchen coming to the plate. Mark Riggins pays Blake Wood another visit.
You're way late with the 30-second clock that time. That might be a little home field advantage. He was across the foul line before they started it. What's up with that, Greg?
I don't know. Can you?
We need to.
Can you do something about that?
Yeah, I'm going to look into the.
Yeah.
There has to be some. They have to like bring somebody in, third party from somewhere to run that clock.
Yeah. Somebody from the league should be here.
Every time Ray hit the top step, they started that baby yesterday.
The infield will concede a run here with nobody out. McCutchen 1 for 3. And a dribbler to first. And look out, there's a problem on the base pass. Votto will throw to second base and an out there. John Jaso thought that Joyce was going to be breaking for the plate. Votto, a quick look and gunned it over to second. The Pirates are going to challenge the call at second.
Well, somebody had to miss a sign. I mean, could you? Before the pitch is even thrown home, everybody knows are you going to run on contact or not.
Those angles, it's hard to imagine that they would overturn the original call. It looked like
I could see how maybe he was safe, though.
Yeah.
But I don't.
The question is, do you have another angle that shows any space? And we talked a lot about this last year. Again, it's hard to tell. Is his hand on the bag there?
You know, if they would have called him safe initially, I don't think they would. It's one of those.
Yep.
You wouldn't overturn it, but I just don't know. I don't know which way this one's going to go.
But again, Bob, there are different angles. There are different camera operators, different equipment,
different guys
in every ballpark.
Different guys.
And again, PNC Park is the best for this. Here's maybe the best look.
Different guys, you know, that are on the clock to start the clock.
Yeah, that's right. Kerwin Danley made the call, the second base umpire on your left. Joe West, the crew chief. They are on the headsets talking to the officials in New York. John Jaso pointing to the scoreboard. He thinks he got back in.
This one I think is going to be flip a coin. Not sure which way it's going to go. They're taking a long time to look at it, which I think is a good sign. Definitely not cut and dried. But again, Greg, Jaso obviously was under the impression that Freese is supposed to run. Yeah, or not Freese. Joyce.
Big call coming up. It's either a double play, a runner at third, 2 outs, or 1 out and runner still at second and third. The Pirates down 3-1. Wood able to get McCutchen to dribble one to Joey Votto.
What complicated that was that Votto wasn't playing really back. He was playing in. So if that would have been a ground ball to second, then it would have been no score. But Matt able to, you know, perhaps just read off the bat. Okay, that's hit the Votto. I can't run on that. I'll be a dead duck at the plate.
You have a decision, it would appear.
But then what he could have done is, you know, you draw a throw, you get in a run down, and then you still have second and third, nobody out, or 1 out.
Double play.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
In fact, was it the Reds or the Cardinals that did that recently, where they got them run down?
Call stands. You
know what? Jason never even glanced to see. I mean, he was convinced that Matt was running up to the plate, because he never looked at it to see if he was going to go or not. He was assuming that he was off when the ball was hit, no matter what. There's just maybe a lack of communication, perhaps, on that play.
Pirates were in great shape following the Jaso double. Second and third, nobody out. Then McCutchen hits the roller toward first. Three-six double play. Joyce at third with two down. Freese has struck out twice today and flied out. Joyce started this inning with a pinch hit walk against Blake Wood. Still talking about it. Harrison, McCutchen, Jaso. Wood strikes out Freese. Quite a turn of events there, as the Pirates were setting up shop. Still down 3-1.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Kenny Ross, Total Confidence Pricing, and by Levin Furniture, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
So John Jaso is doubled off second base on that roller by Andrew McCutchen. And Clint Hurdle's Pirates still trail 3-1. Here in the bottom of the seventh inning, Kyle Lobstein will take over, third pitcher to work this afternoon.
Kyle's numbers from that first outing.
Lobstein picked up the win on Tuesday. Team that went extra innings, 6-5.
That stretched out a little bit in spring training. A lot of multiple inning work.
Former Tiger, Pirates will be heading to Detroit after tomorrow afternoon's game for a home and home series. 2 in Detroit, 2 in Pittsburgh against the Tigers. They are trailing the Yankees 8-2 in the 7th inning at Comerica. Alex Rodriguez, Carlos Beltran have homered for the Yankees. 3-1 on Tucker Barnhart, and a ground ball. Nice pick there on the ground, and Mercer to his feet. Pick on the other end. Fine defensive work there.
And Mercer has a very accurate arm from odd angles. Thinking back to that play he made last night where he threw home. He's falling down, and he's got that, I mean, right on line with first base. It didn't quite get there in the air, but still, it was just.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, the direction is there and gives your first baseman an opportunity to make a little play for you. But if you throw wide, well, then it doesn't make much difference.
Devin Mesoraco pinch hitting for Blake Wood. And Mesoraco, a base hit. And they'll bring up Billy Hamilton. Point Park University tweet from Javi Brown. Can you elaborate on the reason why you couldn't lick or blow on your fingers and why it was changed? Thanks.
Well, Greg, a hitter's always been terrified that the pitchers might be able to get a little edge on them and do something. So there was always a rule ever since the I guess the spitball became illegal that you couldn't put get any moisture on your hand. And if you did go to your mouth, it had to be completely off the dirt. It had to be on the grass. And if I remember right, I think you also, after you did that, you either had to wipe your hand or go to the rosin back, even if you were on the grass. But I guess a part of the speed up rules to prevent guys from walking down to the grass every time they wanted to lick their hands, they decided, well, since we're going to make them, wipe their hand off, then what's the difference where they're standing when they do it? So like today, you saw Garrett Cole several times lick his fingers, but then he would always have to wipe his hand off.
See Lobstein even now, off the rubber.
Now on cold days, pitchers would ask permission, can I at least blow on my hand and get some warmth in there without having to go down to the grass? And on cold days like today, the umpires will give them permission to do that. And now I'm sure you don't have to get that permission to blow on your hands now, because you can go to your mouth anytime you want, as long as you wipe your hand on your uniform or go to the rosin bag. Now there were some sneaky pitchers that when they licked their hands, they would put their thumb and their fingers really almost all the way into their mouth as they were licking their fingers, so that the back of their thumb was also soaking wet. And since it's their back of their thumb, when they wipe their hand off.
Show that again, Bob. Now.
All right.
When we get on camera here. Okay, go ahead.
Since it's the back of their thumb that was wet from going like that, they wipe their hand off. Well, now the back of their hand is still wet, so they take their pitching fingers, go like that on the back of their thumb when it's in the glove. Oh, now
that is
they've moistened their fingers again.
Man.
Somebody showed me that one time.
Bounce to Lobstein. He'll throw to second for one and to first. Not in time. Of course, you don't expect to double up Billy Hamilton, but that was fairly close.
That's as close as you'll probably get on him, don't you think?
Yes. Allegheny Health Network Supermo shows that he's in there by a step.
And the Supermo has a hard time slowing Hamilton down. Well, he will run, just a matter of first, second, third pitch.
Not if, just when. Ball one on Suarez.
Quick pitch before he even got a lead. He was busy putting his glove on.
So, Bob, did you find that that was an advantage when you did that?
I never did that.
I mean, I'm sorry, not you. Other pitchers. Fly ball hit deep to center field, and Suarez crushes a two-run homer off Kyle Lobstein to make it a 5-1 ball game.
That one was pretty much a no-doubter. I was watching McCutcheon to try to get a read on what he thought, and he basically just turned around and watched it. He knew it was going to be way out. Of course, at that point, I think we could all tell. Ball hit off those dark windows out there they use for the batter's eye.
Eugenio Suarez hit 13 homers in 370 at bats last year. He's got 3 already this season.
That mid-thigh fastball that we were talking about earlier, Greg, that if guys ask for a pitch, that's kind of like what they would like to see, mid-thigh, make it a fastball.
Two and two on Votto. And Caleb Cotham, who pitched last night, will be coming on in the 8th. Close pitch again. Francisco Cervelli asking for an appeal. Mark Ripberger won't grant it.
Wouldn't let him have the.
And Cervelli not happy about that.
Might have been payback.
Yeah. Ball 4. Brandon Phillips will come up with Votto aboard. 2 outs in the 7th.
If they've thought about hitting Votto leadoff.
Would make sense.
Yeah.
And a bouncer foul just a few inches past third. Kyle Lobstein, who appeared in 13 games with the Tigers last year. 11 starts. 26 years old from Flagstaff, Arizona. Phillips singled in a run in the 5th. Three-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glover Brandon Phillips, who joined the Reds in a deal from the Cleveland Indians April 7th, 2006. Mercer will get to the bag before Votto can slide in. A 2-run homer by Eugenio Suarez puts the Reds on top by 4.
Cast is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Nissan Road ahead tomorrow afternoon, final game of the series. Jeff Locke will get his first start of the year for the Buccos, and Tim Melville will be called up from the minor leagues to get the start for the Cincinnati Reds. He will be making his major league debut. 5-1 Reds. Caleb Cotham pitched last night. This is his 3rd outing. Marte, Cervelli, Polanco.
A pretty big swing in the last, what, 15 minutes?
Yep.
Went from tying run at second base, nobody out, to down by 4 with 6 outs left.
That's baseball.
That's why you got to play every day, because you have games like this.
Marte has bounced a short fly to right and struck out. And Votto should make this play. 1 out. Marte, after playing the hero's role last night, that grand slam, not so great today at the plate. He had 3 hits, was on base 4 times in last night's game. Meanwhile, Cervelli on base all 3 times this afternoon. A couple of hits and a walk. 5, 6, 7 hitters in the lineup for the Pirates. 6 for 7 with a couple of walks. Cervelli, Polanco, and Harrison. Caleb Cotham, one of the players the Reds got in the deal with the Yankees. Aroldis Chapman sent to the Yankees. The Reds got a handful of prospects, including this 28-year-old who appeared in a dozen games out of the Yankees bullpen last year. And a former Yankee at the plate. The Yankees lead the Tigers 8-4 in the 7th. Same score. Boston leading Toronto heading to the bottom of the 9th at the Rogers Center. 8-4 Red Sox.
Got to be so different for a younger player that's started with the Yankees and all that goes along with being that there in New York and Yankee Stadium, and then coming to a smaller franchise. You'd almost think it should work in a good way where you can be able to relax.
Francisco Cervelli relaxed, 3 hits, on base 4 times.
Yeah, he certainly responded to leaving New York. Great year last year.
A 1-out single. Polanco now on base all 3 times to the plate.
Not going to hold Cervelli on. Looks like Votto going to play off the bag with the left-hand hitter up. The big lead.
And out comes Barnhart.
Start the clock. So that's okay. That didn't really take that much time. I don't know what it's for, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on now, I got to throw strikes. Tell him anything you don't know.
Well, see, he needed that trip. 1-1.
Still didn't throw a strike.
Umpire called it a strike.
It wasn't.
Mark Ripberger. You see that second pitch there called a strike. And a broken bat, fly ball. Hamilton over. 2 outs.
A little javelin in the grass. Still happens occasionally. Not a dozen times a game like that one year.
Don Long can speak to that, the hitting coach of the Cincinnati Reds. Remember?
Dodger Stadium.
Yeah. Broken bat went toward Don Long and right by the eye. Needed several stitches. It was a scary moment. Ball 1 on Josh Harrison. ...2008, April 15th. The broken bat, and Don Long gets clipped right below the left eye. Several stitches to close that cut. That could have been far worse.
You know, that happened so many times that year with balls or the bats going into the stands. It really was just an odd, crazy season. But whatever they did as far as the bat inspections, it seemed to work. I mean, it still happens. You're using wooden bats. It's never going to completely go away, but they cut it way down.
There's a shot of Don Long, the hitting coach, now with the Reds. 2-2 on Josh Harrison. Caleb Cotham for Cincinnati. And a fly ball to shallow right. Pirates leave a man, still trail by 4 runs. Week when they begin their quest for the Cup in the first round of the NHL playoffs. We'll have more information on these games after this weekend, so visit rootsports.com next week for the latest schedule. First round Stanley Cup playoffs coming up.
Do you have to type in the www, Greg, when you go to?
Now you know the answer to that,
website?
Bob, because you do more searching on the web than anybody I've ever seen, so you know the answer is no. But I'll play along with you.
I was asking for Steve. Steve wanted to know.
You know what Steve says? You've got to notice that I want you to start paying attention now. If he asks you to do some kind of research on the internet for you, he'll say, "Can you punch that in?" he'll say, like, we'll talk about an old box score, say about a game back in the 70s involving Clemente or something. He'll say, "I think Clemente hit 2 home runs that day. I think I pitched. Can you punch that in?" You know, can you punch it in? So I want you to call it that from now on. All right.
Punch that up.
Yeah, punch that in. Three 3-0 on Bruce. Singled a run in the first, struck out his last 2 times. Scott Schebler on deck. Reds have been out hit 10-8, but lead 5-1. Lobstein gave up the 2-run homer to Suarez with 2 outs in the 7th. And strike 3 called. Think about those little things that occur during a baseball game, and they could be the difference. Remember that Brandon Phillips fly ball in the 5th that Marte was not able to get to, pulled up, still threw out Votto at 3rd, and nearly threw him out before Suarez scored. The ball that Billy Hamilton just did beat out on the comebacker in the 7th, preceding the Suarez homer. John Jaso, of course, doubled off second base. Some miscommunication. Harrison will throw out Schebler.
Yeah, that to me was the
turning point.
Yeah, whatever title you want to put on it. A great opportunity there to tie the ball game.
Pirates were down 3-1, but they had runners at second and third and nobody out after the Jaso double, moving Matt Joyce over to third. And Blake Wood was able to get Andrew McCutchen to hit a roller to Joey Votto. Jaso broke for third. Joyce did not move from third base. Votto was able to step on the bag, and he heard everybody yelling second base. He threw, and DeJesus, who's now at the plate, applied that tag on Jaso. Pirates challenged, but the call stood. Pirates 2 for 9. 2 for 10 with the freeze strikeout that followed. 2 for 10 with men in scoring position on the day. Davis Sampson and J.J. Hoover up in the Reds pen. Lobstein has a 1-2-3 bottom of the 8th. Last chance for the Pirates. Down 5-1. Head to the 9th inning. Kyle Lobstein gives up a 2-run homer in the 8th and a 1-2, or rather in the 7th, a 1-2-3 8th. Pirates wrap up this series against the Reds tomorrow. Another matinee game right here from Great American Ballpark. Our coverage starts at 12:30 with Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason here on Root Sports. Jeff Locke, and he'll be joined by Chris Stewart tomorrow, according to Clint Hurdle. He'll give Cervelli tomorrow off. Looking as though Jeff Locke will be trying to lead the Pirates to a series win. Be quite a comeback here for it to be a sweep. But they did it last night against J.J. Hoover, and he's right back up on the horse. Facing Jordy Mercer, Michael Morris on deck. Dribbled to second. 1 out.
Yeah, Greg, this is, I think, what closers love. to be able to get back right, and not even having to wait for a night game, but the next day a day game, get out there and after a blown save to be able to
even though it's not a safe situation, just get back out there.
Just get back out there and be able to move on from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially important, I guess, for a guy that's trying to establish himself as a closer like Hoover.
Starling Marte's grand slam last night won it. Francisco Liriano, that ski cap, John Neese leaning up against the railing. And quickly Morse in the hole 0-2. John Jaso to follow. Look for base runners, see if he can't get down to Marte. Two and two. Hoover, 28 years old, out of Elizabeth Forward High School. Acquired from the Braves in April of 2012 by the Reds. .294 ERA last year. Down on strikes goes Michael Morse, 2 down.
Pretty good breaking ball. Mid-80s, nice and sharp.
Here is Jaso. Has doubled, walked, bounced into a force play. 22,799 for the middle game of this series. 38 degrees at game time. Wind chill dipped into the mid-20s. Supposed to be a nicer day tomorrow.
For the most part, I think it got colder as the day went on. I don't know if that's what the thermometer says, but that's the way it feels.
This is going to end it, and Pirates are handed their first loss of the young season as the Reds even this 3-game series at a game apiece.
Yeah, made some mistakes out there today that cost us a little bit, and that I think, along with Cole not being at his best control-wise,